This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com. Hey everybody, welcome to Rob Paints. Today I've gotten quite a few requests to paint the Tyrant. Well, I painted him. He's all jacked up. He's ready to go. Well, you can't really see him that well. Alright, well anyways, how did we get here? How did we get to this point where you can at least put it on a board? Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's go down the table and check out how we paint the Tyrant. Alright, so basically what we got here is the Tyrant. Everybody's wanted to see the Tyrant done properly, and there's a way you can do this above average. I really think that this is probably one of the more easier figures that you can do. Everybody concerns themselves with these skulls here, but what we're going to do is we're going to take some xandrie dust, and we're actually going to dry brush all around. We don't need to get all the skulls. And I'll show you how we're going to do that in a moment, and we'll be able to take it from there. Alright, the key here is to wipe off some of the xandrie dust right off here. Okay, and that's all I want to do. And then all I want to do is, I'm not worried about getting on the metallic because I'm going to go over that, but just taking and going lightly over these skulls. And you could fly right through it. I'm not worried about getting any paint anywhere else because the wash is going to take care of a lot of things, and I just want to get all these skulls very lightly, okay, because we're going to actually go over them a few times. I want it darker than that, of course. It's going to take you a few minutes, but it's not, you know, you're not going to be sitting here painting skulls all night. You know, don't let it become a drama thing. Oh, there's over 100 skulls on here. Well, that's easy. Paint skulls is easy, and you can do it very easily. So I'm going to finish these up. It should only take me about 10 minutes to go all the way around here and make sure I get all the skulls. All I want to do is just get a nice light coat all the way around on all these skulls, and that's what I'm going to do. Alright, I don't even think I gave the camera enough time to shut off, and that's how quickly we got these skulls all done. This is not your big problem. The big problem is going to be your metallics, but even that's not going to be a problem. Right now I'm going to take some dried bark, and we're going to fill in this fur here. And we want to be kind of careful. We don't want to get it all over the place, and all, you know, we don't want to have to keep repainting over stuff. And the idea is just to work it in here really well. You want to be kind of careful, so take your time. But while we're waiting for everything else to dry, it's smart to just have, you know, no mist. I don't like wasted time, and this is a perfect example. Now there's some metal hooks in here. You don't even have to worry about those right now. All you're trying to do is get this whole fur lining out of the way, and some of the belts that you want to do. And you really want to just work that in there and get that done. So I'm going to finish this up, and I'm going to show you what it looks like when we are done. Now you see I got that brown in there real nice. See how nice and tight that is? That's fine, because we're going to dry brush over that in time. But right now what we want to do is we really kind of want to just, this is where you make a decision. Do you want to take the time to basically start doing your metallics, or do you want to kind of back off a little bit and get the flesh in there? It's really a choice. It doesn't really matter. I like to get the bigger work out of the way, so I think we go metallics next. Now here's where I started layering in the metallics, and I'm using a lead belcher, which is an old favorite of ours, and all I'm doing here is I'm just getting the chains. Now I know what you're saying, Rob, you're not done with the skulls. Isn't the wash going to mess that all up? No, not at all. As a matter of fact, it's going to help us a bit. It's going to give us a little bit of advantage when we come in with another wash over it.
So we're going to be very calculated with our washes, and you'll see that sooner than later, and that's for sure. And all you're trying to do is just get these chains. And if you get any on the skulls, it doesn't matter, because we're going to be dry brushing over the skulls. So just getting these chains and really just kind of, as you can see, just taking a nice small brush, taking your time. And this is where some, you know, this type of work is going to pay off in the end, is just taking your time, lightly touching them, because we're really going to make this all pop, and we really are. And if you got too much paint on your brush, well, guess what? You got his giant axe here, which he's just dying to work on anybody. So I take a little off, and then I just make sure that I can, and I love using a flat brush, a very small flat brush, where I can kind of turn it sideways and just follow the contour of the actual chain and hook here and work it around. And work it around, as you can see here. And just taking my time. So I'm going to finish this up. We're going to get all the plate and everything done. I could have gone skin, but I really rather do this first, and then I think I might finish up the skin last, because that's going to tie in with some washes that we're going to do. So you're going to see what exactly we're going to do and how we're going to get there. So let me finish this up, and we'll be back. Now, as you can see how important, oops, sorry about that, the metallic is. Getting the lead belcher in there is really, really important, because that's what's really going to sell those skulls. Okay? Now, the skulls are nowhere near done. We've got a lot of work to do with them, but they're going to be so much easier because of the way we've layered this and how we've done this. And now getting the skin tone in after we've got the lead belcher all in is going to be a lot easier. We just have to take our time when we're doing that. So we could do that, or we could just kind of touch up a little bit and add a little gold in there to really make it shine. And I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to add in some retribution armor that I always like to use to bring things out. So let's start to do that. Okay, so I just want to add a little color in here, and I see this like little plate here, so I'm gonna add a little retribution in there, and we're gonna let that dry. You see, I know a lot of you, what you're thinking, of course, is, wow, Rob, you didn't do the, usually you do, always are saying get the flesh done first, but this is one time, because there's so much that ties into a couple of washes that I'm actually kind of going backwards almost in a way, and you know, just adding little things here and there. So I'm going to finish up adding just a little bit of highlight here, because this is all going to tie into the wash, and the next thing we're probably going to do is the flesh, but we'll get there when we get there. All right, now this is one time that you really got to be careful what you're doing here. I watered this down pretty good, so it's going to take a couple coats to go over, but I'm really just work the hands a little bit, get a little of that paint, just so you know what kind of paint you have on the brush. You got the hands here that are a little thicker, so you can work that in a little bit, and just so you, until you can go and work in between those things. Just make sure you have a good feel for your brush and what you're going to do. I'm going to finish this up, and then we'll come back. So as you can see, we have all the flesh in there, and it's looking pretty decent. Well, it looks like garbage basically, but we have to put our washes in there before we do his hair, and we tighten up his face and all that other stuff. So right now everything kind of looks layered in there and kind of messy. But for these bandages here, from what I've seen, they're almost like a darker gray. So I'm going to go with a Mechanicus standard gray, and all I'm going to do is, like I did over on this side, is just fairly lightly go over it a little bit, and I almost want to kind of dry brush it in there a little bit. I know it's a little early to start our dry brushing because we haven't put our washes on there, but I want to get that gray in there for a reason, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, because it's going to help when we go over with our washes, because our washes are really going to make a big difference here, even though it doesn't look it right now. I mean, this is an incredibly beautiful figure. I mean, they do such wonderful work. And we're going to come over on this side.
We just want to give that a little bit of depth right there. So I'm going to finish this up, and then we're going to come back, and everything should be just about dry, and we should be able to get to the next step. All right, it's time to apply some washes, and that's for sure. This is real easy. We're going to use some Agrath Earthshade. We're just going to go over the skulls, over any kind of horns that he has. We're trying not to get the metal, but we're not worried about it because we're going to come right over the top with a darker wash. And you see how that's darkening everything up. Remember when I said you just go over those skulls and don't let anybody tell you, oh my God, there's so many skulls and I have to paint these and I need to paint each individual. Please. All right, you can dry brush over these and you're going to get the same beautiful effect. As long as you apply your wash, move it around properly. See those skulls come out? That's what I'm talking about. That's how you bring it home. You don't have to be a professional. You can do this. You can do above average stuff. We're going to go into the flesh here, and we're going to go over his face. We want to bring out his features. We want to get all in here. Don't worry about hitting the metal. Trust me, I got this. We got this. We got this as a team, and we're gonna get through it. We're gonna get through it together because I'm gonna show you how to do it. I want to have that kind of sit in there a little bit. Move it around. Move that brush around. Go over these top areas. I did the back there already. I should have moved my finger, right? Okay. And, just turn them around. Get these skulls and these horns in the back here. Because they're made out of bone. That's right. This is all made out of bone. And we're going to just go over this. He's got some skulls in the back of his head. That's why we didn't do his hair right away. Is because we were going to come over the top with this. And all I want to do, and I'm just doing this lightly, and you can see I'm getting it right into those recesses of those eyes, of those skulls, so they really sell very well. It's about selling those eyes. That's right. And just getting that in there. And we want to get all the flesh. We want to get the fingertips and all that. All right, I'm going to finish this up. You guys, I'll see you in a little bit when we start applying the second wash on this. Okay, so we still got this wash drying, and it's going to take about 45 minutes. This is going to be the longest part, is waiting for this wash to dry. But I'm going to take some Newell oil, and I'm going to go over all the metallics. Even though we have the other wash that is on here, and the browner wash drying, that's okay. Because we are going to lighten everything up. And trust me, friends. I think I know what I'm doing. And if I don't, I apologize. But all we're going to do is just work this in here. And if they mix together, well, that kind of gives an interesting feel to it. So I wouldn't worry about it, okay? But I'm trying to get all the metallic areas. And I'm just loosely moving it around, and everything, as you can see, there's just a really nice flow going on here. And I'm going to flip this around because I don't want to drop it. I'm going to get a little more in there. I'm sorry if it goes out of focus. I really am trying to learn this new camera, and if I lose it there, it's only because I'm inexperienced with the camera. But boy, am I having a good time painting this up for you. And I'm just trying to get some of the metallic up top here, working it in here, but don't worry about it. Trust me. We are going to make this look great. And right now it's so nice and dark and everything, and you really have it in the recesses, that when we start bringing these colors out, you're going to be like, oh, I get what he was trying to do. I see, I understand now. And that's the nature of the beast there, folks. All right, so we're going to let this dry for a good amount of time, and then we're going to come back, and I'm going to show you how we start highlighting and bringing this all out, and it'll look glorious, hopefully. All right, we'll be back. Okay, right here I'm going to use some Longbeard Gray. Yeah, for his long beard.
And basically his entire hair face here. And I'm just going to go lightly. I really just want to get it worked in there a bit. And this is where, you know, it's a good time to put the hair in, because we've already done our washes, and now we begin our highlights, and we want to see where we're at with his facial hair, I mean with his face and all that stuff. But I kind of like leaving just a little bit of black under there. I seen pictures of him where he's extremely has white hair. I just don't think it gives any kind of depth or 3D effect there. So I'm going to keep working at this until I think I got it, and then I'll come back and I'll show you what we got, and we'll go from there. Okay, and by doing that and getting that in there and leaving some of that black underneath, it gives us a little bit more realism in there. Now we'll fix those skulls. Don't worry about that. We got some work to do here, folks. So there now, you know, we have that dark underneath, because nobody's just like completely white, and and for a model especially, it just doesn't look real. So leaving a little bit of those black undertones under there kind of really sells his hair. All right, next thing we want to clean up, let's clean up these skulls. It's about time, huh? We're at that point, so let's go to it. Now this is important, but not as important as the metallic that we're going to be putting under, because that's really going to bring a lot of this out. And all we're going to do is, I'm going to start over here because I started over here a little bit. But this is really easy. It's just touching a little bit, and dragging that down. Not taking any of the detail. Take some of the paint off the brush. And what do I mean by that? Well, that's very easy. I'm going to show you very quickly before we get going too far. Over here I got a little thing, and I am just taking the paint off the brush, so I have a little bit on there. I don't want it thick. I don't want it too watery. Excuse me. And I just, look at that. See how that's a beautiful effect that you get there. And I'm just going over the skulls. Don't worry about the metallic if you get it onto the lead belcher, because we're going to take care of that sooner than later, and I promise you that. But this nice little effect just coming over and just picking these out, picking these scullies out. And if you missed a scully and he's hiding in there somewhere, that's all right. But you can take care of this and move pretty quickly with this. I mean, look at that. Look how they stand out. See how they stand out here compared to over here? Well, that's because we did what we were supposed to do with these guys, and we got them up to where we wanted to. We got their eyes popping and everything like that. And don't worry about the metallic. We're going to take care of that last. That's the last thing that we have to worry about. It's getting these skeletons out and then making this all work together. And I'm going to show you how we do that. I'm going to finish these up, and we're going to be right back. Now right here, I'm going to take some Kesla flesh, and I'm going to take a little bit of ceramic white, and I'm going to work it in together with a little bit of water, just a little bit. And then I'm going to kind of take it off as much as I can off my palette here. And what I want to do is I want to lightly, really lightly, kind of just start working in some of these areas. If I'm unsure, I go underneath here a little bit, and I just tickle that a little bit. But I can kind of go over the fingertips here, and it'll dry a little bit darker here. And what I want to do is I want to bring out that depth. I want to start just very lightly working over some of the muscle structure, but not taking that wash off completely, but actually having it stand out a little bit and let him kind of shine. You know, he doesn't look this dirty, all right? And that's what we're going for. We're making sure that he doesn't look dirty. So we want to lighten up his flesh a little bit and really bring it out, because the dude's ripped. I mean, for a tyrant, you know, that eats people. So I'm going to finish this up, and we'll see what it looks like when I'm done.
Okay, now we're going to take our old favorite Necron compound and we're going to start doing these chains. Now I've already started doing some of it, but I want you to see here what happens when you do it. When you just come in here and hit these chains and you just use a nice small brush and you take your time. This is where it's going to count, and just go over it ever so lightly. Trying not to hit the skulls that you worked so hard for. Now all of a sudden this starts to come out. Because if you rewind and look at this plate and everything that I've done, and how this is all kind of start to sit up a bit by just taking some of this compound and going over some of these metallic areas that, like right there, boom. Let's get that clasp right there. Get that in there. And of course we got to come over this. We've got to come over this whole thing here. But again, you're just going to come over, you're going to pick out the chain, and you're going to see by just taking some of that compound. See how it works in here? Now you've got this beautiful texture that you really want to create here, and depth, and that's what you're really looking to do. So I'm going to continue this. I'm going to finish all the metallic here, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk a little bit more. Alright, so there we go. As you see, not bad. It's playable, and that's the most important thing, is playable. For now, I just put a little, I just want to show you guys because I do want to get this video up. Some texture, some Stryland mud, and I just use that for the bottom of the base right now. I'll probably add some stuff later on, but right now I'm pretty happy with what we got here. I think that's very playable, and I think it's a decent model, and that's what we're trying to accomplish. We're trying to accomplish some realism. You guys can do this. I mean, you really can. Anybody can do this. It just follow the directions. Keep it simple, and you'll be happy with your results, and that's what's most important. Until next time, for the Tyrant and myself, we'll see you guys soon on the next video that Rob paints.